This podcast is brought to you by the Arate Media Podcast Pantheon.
Come with me to discover the transformative power of kindness and the joy it brings. Join me as we explore every Monday morning simple yet profound ways to elevate your happiness, one gesture at a time.
Wow, fantastic baby. Dance. I'm gonna dance. Fantastic baby.
Welcome to another episode of The Complete Guide to Happiness. Did you have a happy week? Whatever you did last week that made you happy, keep doing it, because that's our goal in life, is to be happy. Well, I have got a great interview today. I've got a great cooking episode for you today, and a great show for you. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. As you know, I begin the show with kindness quotes or motivational quotes. As you know, I deliver them to thousands of people around the world. Oh, by the way, this week we broke 9,600 ambassadors of kindness. Thank you all for being kind, for believing in the 3 commitments to kindness, for taking the Global Kindness Pledge, for participating. I've been getting a lot of great calls. People are happy. I'm glad you're happy, because that's the goal of the show and the goal of life. So let's start with a couple of quotes here. This is from Helen Keller. You know, you go through some adversities in life. She was blind, and she did some incredible things in her life. So don't let little things, well, that's not a little thing, that get in your way bother you. You know, when you lose a sense, you gain other senses. People who lose legs and arms are typically more happier because they're in the Paralympics, or they're doing things they would never ordinarily do as regular folk. So here we go with Helen Keller's quote. The unselfish effort to bring cheer to others will be the beginning of a happier life for ourselves. Spot on. And my quote along with that was, making others happy will make you happy. It's just a karma. You know, you do good things good things happen. I don't like using the word good. So if you do fantastic things will happen. Remember, saying fantastic makes you smile, which releases stress, anxiety, and depression because of the neuromessaging units that smile makes. You live 5 minutes longer when you smile, and you live an hour longer when you laugh. So hopefully you'll get some laughs today and live a couple hours longer, because we want to live longer, but we want to live longer happier, not sad and depressed and miserable. Beyonce said, "We're all in this together. Each and every one of us can make a difference by giving back." I just love quotes. You know, famous people saying famous things. I used to have, well, maybe I'll start playing those. I've got a whole series of fantastic people saying fantastic quotes. Because when I was in Tennessee, on my first leg of my journey, I was in a hostel, and they had this big bowl of quotes from fantastic people, big bowl, and you could pick one up and keep it. And I asked them for the bowl, and they gave me the bowl. And wherever I traveled to, I'd give one of the quotes to someone I met, a new ambassador, and they would read the quote. And so I called it Fantastic Quotes from by Fantastic People. That was pretty cute. My quote, along with Beyonce's, was, "Help your fellow man. It's fantastic." Helping is really amazing. Helping someone across the street, someone, there's a lot of people that need help. You know, volunteering is a fantastic thing to do. It's very rewarding. You know, I've got a lot of ambassadors in Africa, and they always say, "Give me money." They just don't even say their name. They just send me money, give me money. And I try to tell them that if they're starving, if they're not doing well, go out and volunteer. Be surprised. People will feed you. People will take you in if you volunteer. Volunteering is a great thing. It's giving back. You know, we all have a little time to volunteer. It could be at your kid's school, you know. There's lots of ways of volunteering. Cleaning up the streets. I was cleaning the streets one time just because it was the trash bin, not just because, but the trash bin was in front of my condo in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. And one day I went out there and just wanted to pick up the trash and throw it in the bin. You'd be surprised how many people miss the trash can. It's ridiculous. Do you ever see an ATM machine and, you know, they spit out a receipt and you should be able to choose whether you want one or not, but people do choose receipts. I think you can choose if you don't want one, but people choose a receipt, and they have a little trash can there so you can throw the receipt in. And inevitably, you see dozens of receipts on the ground. I mean, people, take accountability for your actions. Take that little receipt and put it in the trash can. How much effort is that? Damn, people, be kind. Will Smith, very famous actor, big time actor, one of the highest paid actors in the business, I think. I haven't had many quotes from him. Although I don't know, I did do a quote one time and someone dropped out of the group. They said, I don't like Will Smith. Come on, people. Really? You're gonna not get thousands of other quotes from famous people because I quoted Will Smith? Okay, so for those that are saying goodbye to the show, it was nice knowing you. I'm gonna quote Will Smith again. He said, if you're not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time. I like that quote. And he might have done some bad things in his life. We've all done some bad things in our lives. You know, there's a lot of people that go to prison. They learn by their mistakes. And sometimes it's an innocent mistake, but it still costs someone their life, by maybe texting or something. And they come out better people. But sometimes they go in as a pretty innocent person and come out a criminal because you meet criminals in there and you learn how to be a better criminal. It's a crazy system. My quote, along with Will's, was, it's better to give than to get. You know, it's a twist on better to give than to receive. But I like when words kind of match and rhyme, not rhyme, but fit together. Like when I was in radio, I used to, you shouldn't say Pete because it pops in the mic. And so I said, bucket. And I would say, I'm possibly and practically the most positive person on the planet. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, it's better to give than to get. Anne Frank said, no one has ever become poor by giving. My quote, give a smile. It's free. I connect eyes with everyone I pass in the street and smile at them. Typically, they always smile back. And I love to tell them to have a fantastic day. And it puts a smile on their face. So it's fantastic. It's really rewarding to just give someone a smile, you know, give someone a compliment, you know, it'll make you happy. To make someone else happy, it really makes you happy to make other people happy. And this is the complete guide to happiness. So I've got another fantastic interview today coming up. So I think you'll have a fun time watching. Hope you're enjoying the cooking episodes. Actually, I'm enjoying reliving them because my memory, as you know, is pretty poor. And I've made these food episodes, these cooking episodes all over the world. And it's fun to look back and see how crazy I was and how crazy I still am. Anyway, so stay tuned. We're going to have a fun show today. Thanks for tuning in. Always like, subscribe, and share. They say that helps. And if it helps, make the world a kinder place. Spread the global kindness pledges that the people are putting in. And, battery's going down. And further our kindness revolution. Wow, wouldn't that be fantastic? Are you still with me after that lengthy monologue? You truly are a fantastic person, and thank you for being part of the show, watching. Hopefully you'll like and share it. I've got with us a fantastic guest, truly a remarkable human being, humanitarian. Ambassador number 8,488. Johann's his first name. As you know, we only go by first names. I won't even try to pronounce his second name, his last name, but he's the CEO of 195 and 365.org. You know, a lot of people are doing their part in trying to save things. You know, some people are saving the endangered species, or saving the whales like my sister did, or saving their souls. Or Johann is got a very lofty goal, as I do, saving the environment, and I'm trying to do that as well. But I'm a step above that. I'm trying to save the friggin' planet because it's the insanity of humanity. What we've done to our planet is insane. Yeah. And hopefully we'll have a future. Guys like Johann and myself and the 9,600 plus ambassadors now are I think are going to make a change. So without further ado, Johann, how you doing today?
Yeah, okay. Right. Greetings, Dr. Fantastic. How you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
Oh, I'd say blessed and highly favored, which is just fantastic.
Well, let me ask the first question because I got to get that out of the way. What is your definition of happiness?
Happiness, um, twofold, twofold. Happiness is me sitting down outside on my balcony, looking at the darkness of night slowly going into day, and seeing the rays of sunshine coming out. And that's my happiness from nature. And my happiness from personal life is I'm a father of 3 girls. And when my girls come and hug me and say, "Hi, Papi, I love you," etc., that's what I'm saying. It's like twofold, one for nature and one for personal. But incorporate the two and bam, it blows it out of the water.
Well, you have some very lovely daughters, two of which are ambassadors, and they did the Global Kindness Pledge, and it's got over 500 views. Why?
Oh,
They're blowing all. They have more views than all the other pledges combined. I don't know why.
because we busting it, boy.
They're
Sorry,
very
that's
cute. They're
Canadian
very
slang.
cute. And if everyone says the Global Kindness Pledge, it will stave off wars and violence and greed and stupidity and all the other things man does. So I'm a big advocate of what we're calling now the kindness revolution. And you're a big part of it because you're going to go around the world in not 60 days, 195, no, 365 days.
65 days.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Just having to do what I never thought possible because I'm up here in my bedroom and I'm living in this house for the last 8 years. And for the first time, I've had to put in an air conditioning. It's
Mm.
just gotten so hot, and I would normally be on the balcony sitting outside with the beautiful natural backdrop. So it's just that part blows. Life is still fantastic, but that part blows.
Speaking of backdrops, I forgot to announce my beautiful backdrop here. A big team of quantum physicists, engineers, and scientists got together for the last week, 10 hours a day, and created this. So I'm very happy to and thank the whole team for creating such a wonderful backdrop. And here you go.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Pretty darn awesome, man. Yeah.
So a
But
natural breeze is fantastic. In nature, it has its great air conditioner. And obviously we have problems with nature. Now, climate change, you're going to talk about it. It's happened for eons since the dawn of man. Now, a lot of people say man caused the climate change. We contributed to it and are contributing to it daily with 8 billion people on the planet. But you got to admit that there's natural climate changes. Volcanoes contribute to it. The farts of cows contribute to it, right?
my daughter had to do an essay the other day, and I used a much more diplomatic term to help her with. It was bovine flatulence.
There you go. I'm not always politically correct, but you got to be you. And I don't care. As a philosopher, you probably heard a lot of my sayings. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks because
Yeah.
everyone's opinion about you has an agenda for them. So if you're just happy with yourself and love yourself, and because everyone wants to be loved, we all want to be liked and accepted, and all those good things, right? But people take someone not liking them as rejection. It's not rejection. Some girls don't like bald guys. Some girls like fat guys, like skinny guys. So whatever you are, it might not be their cup of tea.
Exactly.
Exactly. So people, love yourself. The commitment number one.
Yep. I'll add the point to you here, and I mean, man of faith,
Get the
etc.
camera down a little bit, Johann. So we
Okay,
get more of you. There you go.
Right.
There
Yeah.
you go.
I'll add something here. Man of faith here, and I say a key point is this, and I mean this is from my faith journey, etc. God made each of us unique. In other words, there is nobody like us. We're special. And for those people who have faith in God, if you don't like yourself, it's as if you're turning to God and say, "Hey, God, you did a bad job. The thing we need to do is find within ourselves what it is that makes us special. We all are special. We just have to figure it out, you know? And in the process, some really cool things might happen to you in life. If you just take the time to say, you know what? I'm going to do this, you know? I'm going to make it happen. And like I like to say to my kids, I make this look good. And that's an important part, you know? Getting that inside feeling for yourself to say that I'm beautiful and I'm special and God loves me.
You know
Yeah.
what really impresses me or baffles me is that there's 8 billion people on the planet. Every single one of us has a different voice, has a different fingerprint, has a different iris, and I think the list goes on. But I mean, it's pretty amazing that there can be that many voices. What's really funny about voices is that everyone's laugh is the same. You can't tell a language difference by the laugh. They all sound the same. It's pretty amazing.
It is. That it is. And it's also something worth cherishing, something we don't do. And that's something that I can't understand, you know. Okay, when you love yourself, you figure out that, wow, there must be something special about me, and there is something special about everyone. So there is no need to hate someone, to be jealous of somebody, to be covetous, or to say, like, look, I have to put them down to make me special. No, relish in the beauty that God gave us. And trust me, with that, you're just going to continue to shine, my brother. Yeah.
Well,
That's
commitment number one is the hardest, most important commitment in life. To be kind to yourself, to love yourself, to accept as you are. I always say if the oxygen mask, they say if the oxygen mask drops, put it on first, then help others. Now, I don't talk religion, politics, or business in whenever I'm talking to crowds. But then they say, what about God? If you love yourself, you're loving God. So that's where the God part comes in, because there's many gods. And I got to be neutral as a public speaker. And you know, but they wanted me to be a Muslim when I was in Egypt. They wanted me Israel. They wanted me to be a Jew, and you know, whatever. You know,
well, I'll add this. You know, here's how I see it.
tilt the camera down again.
Oh man, sorry.
You want to see
Here's
that beautiful face of yours.
Yeah, here's how I see it. You know, look, I'm a Christian and I'm a proud Christian. But the big part is respecting other people's and their thoughts and their beliefs. In other words, if you're Muslim or you're Hindu or you're Jewish or whatever, good for you. I respect that, you know, and this is the thing that I say to humanity. If we learn to respect one another and give them what we would like to be received ourselves, you know, there's a saying, give unto others as you would like to yourself. You know, that's the point, you know, how you would like to be treated, treat others. I mean, and it speaks to your second point, and that is exactly the way, you know, when you start to say you respect yourself and you would like people to respect you in a certain way, okay, then do that unto others, and the world will be a better place because of it. You
Well,
know,
thank you for that segue, because commitment two is to be kind to all others. The
exactly.
golden rule: if you treat people like you want to be, that you treat them. If they treat you like you treat them, something like that, it's fantastic. Because you're not going to lie, steal, cheat, argue, fight, bully, tease, all the rape, kill, all the bad things that man does. You won't do that if you're kind. Commitment two. Thank you for that segue, by the way.
Which again then sort of leads to, you know, this is why I think we have gelled so well. You know, it's understanding those three principles is what makes a difference for us. In other words, love of planet, you know, wanting a better world, understanding, and I want to delve into what you said earlier. Look, the climate is changing, it's evolving, and naturally things change. But unfortunately, I think the challenge we have in the world right now is humanity's lost the connection to planet, and our we were meant to be the custodians of the planet. And for many persons, and myself including, I would have to say, if I'm not introspective, I'd be a hypocrite to say, oh, okay, everybody else is doing things wrong, but I'm doing things right. We all make mistakes, right? We all have room for improvement in our interaction with planet. But the point being is, I think humanity for too long has gone with the opinion that it's just take. And because of that, the world is rejecting us.
I think that's called greed.
Yep, it is. It is. And just learning to appreciate what's there, to be more sustainable in the way we interact with our daily lives. And I want to say daily lives in terms of, okay, look at my big, well, you can't see the big belly from here. By the way, when people come and tell me this, I say, oh, I'm just preparing for Christmas because during Christmas time, I'm Santa Claus and I need the big belly. But I'm saying that it's a matter of, we have to, if we want a sustainable planet, we have to do a lot more in terms of how much each of us individually is just taking from it.
Right.
And it has to be a way that makes it more sustainable. Otherwise, the changes we see are likely to be really bad, you know?
Yes. Now, I had a call earlier today from one of our newly ambassadors, and he asked, he was confused about the term Mother Earth. I used to call it the third commitment, of course, be kind to our Mother Earth. I used to call it be kind to our environment, but I wanted to go a step beyond that because from the indigenous species, I learned that this is our mother. You know, without her, we're not alive. And then he also said, well, why isn't it Father Earth? You know, so he didn't quite get it. He's it was from Ghana, I believe. But a lot of people don't get the mission of kindness that I'm doing, that I'm on, that you're on as well, right away. And of course, a lot of people don't even read the welcome letter I send to them. A lot of people don't go to my YouTube because they're too busy trying to make money. So it takes a lot of time to really delve into how deep the kindness revolution is. The 3 commitments to kindness, which is being kind to our Mother Earth. What is your take on Mother Earth? He thought it might have been a religious type of thing. Well, you understood completely what Mother Earth is. I mean, what's your take on Mother Earth?
Okay. The expression mother, I mean, let's just go clinically into it. In other words, is one that's caring, kind, and nurture you from start to death, right? And it's always there for you. But let me add now the bigger context, how I see within the expression of Mother Earth and the challenges. I like the connotation of Mother Earth because you get everything you need to breathe, to eat, to clothe yourself, etc., through the planet. That is what, from inception, parents, i.e. mothers, would do for you. It feeds back to the point, though, if you're using the word Mother Earth, would you treat your mother in the way that you're treating the planet? Would you treat your mother in the way that you're treating all the animals and the plants, the biosphere that we depend on for not only the air that we breathe, the food that we eat, but also the temperature we have to stay cool or to stay warm, depending on it. And that's why I'm saying it is a holistic, a paradigm shift in terms of how we see ourselves in the planet. And you made a very poignant point there. Is this Monty? We are Dr. Fantastic. My apologies. Yeah.
That's the other. I'm a Gemini. That's the other guy.
That's the other guy. Yeah. The problem we have here is we are all so busy in the rat race that we're forgetting why we're doing the race in the first place. You remember the point you said, what made me happy? For anybody or everybody who's listening to this, when was the last time you took the time, whether it is to wake up early and just look at the darkness slowly come to light? looking at the rays of the sunshine, looking at how it makes you feel inside, whether you feel that this sort of energy coming across to you, or when the sun is setting and you see the last rays of light slowly disappearing and the beautiful, sometimes kaleidoscope of colors that are created.
The
We are
simple
so
things
busy rushing that these things, sometimes just pass us by, and we always say, well, tomorrow, well, tomorrow. And that's the problem. Life goes by fast.
very fast, which brings me to a quick little story. When I was in Florida, when I started my journey 5 years ago, as you know, and I ended up in Florida, and I'm trying to get out of the country, and I met this guy named Joe, and he was making a lot of money, and he was working in a little cubicle, with his shoes and socks on, probably never walking on grass or the sand. And he had a lot of money. He was very successful. I think he ran 12 hotels or something. I had, the family and the big mansion and all the trappings of money. And he threw it all away. And now, because he wasn't happy, this is a guide to happiness. So a lot of people realize this at about 50 years old, that they've just been working so hard that they didn't enjoy life. They didn't see the sunset. They didn't smell the flowers. So in this guide, the complete guide to happiness, we have to look at all these stories and take examples from them and learn from their mistakes. This guy was in his 40s. Now he's so happy because he's surfing in the morning, watching the sun come up. He's surfing in the afternoon, watching the sun come down. And during the day, he lives in he lives in a van, doesn't live in a mansion anymore, and he delivers Uber food. But he's happier than he has ever been in his life. And I been traveling the world, meeting the poorest people that think that money is going to make them happy, and I try to life coach them and say, or they want to move to America where they think that, it's the golden roads. And I said, you're going to work 16 hours a day to pay the rent. And then on the weekends, you're going to mow the lawn, fix up the house, and do all the things you have to do to get ready to go back to work on Monday. So people are just in this rat race, like you say, in concrete jungles. Get out of the city. I was living in Charm, I was living in Belize, living here in Antigua, and these people I'm meeting are the smart ones. They got out of the rat race. And the young ones are obviously luckier off because now they have a full life ahead of them. But a lot of people at 60, 70, you still have a few years to go. And you're enjoying life finally after a lifetime of work,
Yes. Firstly, yes to all of the above. And kudos to this guy. But the other part that I want to add is that even though you're technically in the rat race, it doesn't stop you from enjoying the essence of life. Yeah. I mean, you could be taking the bus to work. The simplest of things has beauty.
Walking to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even whether you walk or you bus, and walking is healthier. Yes. Well, let me give you the story of what I really do enjoy. I used to go walking on the beach with my Labrador dog for 10 years. Beautiful. I used to go at 6 in the morning after the sunrise. And then I got earlier and earlier. And generally, I would go at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I always tell people, and they laugh, we have a nice beach about 2 miles long. It's about quarter mile away from me here. And I go down there with my dog to go walking on the beach. And I'll see the moon setting on a early morning. I mean, it is not only romantic, it is so empowering, and I say, yes, okay, this is the paradise defined for many, etc. But the point I'm making before is that even though you're going to work, whether it is that you're taking the bus or you're taking your car, well, the only reason I don't use the car is because you technically should be paying attention to the road. But we still have, even if you're in a concrete jungle, beauty among ourselves. In other words, when you see the leaves falling from the trees in autumn, or like when I was I was looking forward to this for so long. Last year I went to DC. I had to speak at Georgetown University, and the cherry blossoms were there. Oh my gosh! I walked to almost all of my meetings, long walks, but it was amazing, And that's what I'm saying. we have so much inspiring beauty among us that we take for granted.
Mother Nature. We didn't talk about that.
Exactly. You know, and that's what I'm saying. You know, it's things we're taking for granted. And if we want change, change starts here. We spend all our life, as my cousin always says to me, you spend all your life between these two ears. That's what you do because everything plays up in your mind. And it is for you to decide, am I going to concentrate on things that are just like money, money, work, job, life? It's important. Don't take that for granted. It's important. But it's important simultaneously to understand what connections you have in the meantime. You know, what can,
Call that the stoic mind, right?
yeah, you know, having, let me put it this way. Sometimes we get so caught up, we forget what it's like to help others. And there is a gratifying feeling when you're kind to others. And seriously, it comes to you here too. That not that you're full of yourself to say all hail Johann or any crap like that. No. But being kind gives a sort of warm feeling in your heart that you've helped somebody else have a good day.
No
You
question.
know, it's really empowering. So, you know, they say that love is the only thing that when you give it, it multiplies. Yeah. And that's the point, you know, when you get to that point in your life that you understand these things, it's really cool.
Happiness brings happiness.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of videos where I don't know if it's staged or not, but it's setting a great example where someone will say, "Oh, can I shake your hand?" The girl will say, "No," because he's obviously ethnic. You know, I think he's Iranian. He does this a lot. And then the other girl says no. The other third says yes and shakes his hand. Then he goes, "Come with me," and he gives her like $5,000 or $10,000. If it's staged, it's okay, but it's setting the most wonderful example. Now there are many examples where I know it's not staged. I mean, me in particular, I'm a kind man. Maybe, was I always not kind? Maybe not. Maybe I did some bad things in my past. Everyone has, but people are so kind to me now. It's off the charts, beautiful. I mean, guy gave in Sharm, my first day in Sharm, the guy gave me keys to his villa because he says I have another villa. You heard my story. I'm traveling around the world. I'm staying in hostels, and I stayed in this villa for like a month, overlooking Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt, one of the top resorts in the world. How kind is that?
That's awesome. That
Yeah.
is awesome. Yeah. But exactly that's the point because it comes from your heart. And firstly, you know what they say, what is it? Great minds attract, you know, it is exactly that. I mean, there is a little bit of bias by me because I have to sadly, well, not sadly, happily say, sorry. When people describe Grenadians, they say friendly by nature. I grew up in a world which was like what, well, yes, it still thankfully is like this, where one, it takes like a village to raise a child, but where everybody is helpful. You know, we still pass people in the street and you say good morning, good evening, good night, thank you, and these sort of things. And that was the big reason why I wanted to bring up my kids here. In other
Yeah.
words, bring them up in the feeling of to understand what it was and is like to be a good human being. You know?
They say hello here on the street passing in Antigua. It's a 1500 village from the 1500s. But in New York, in Los Angeles, no one says hello. They have blinders. They don't want to meet anyone next to them. It's so sad. It's really, really sad.
Well, you see, that's the challenge that you have with the rat race. And I think you things change one person at a time. You lead by the example. And as you I speak to this is exactly why we're doing this, is I do believe in the power of hope. I do believe in the power of change. And I do believe that till my dying breath, I'm going to advocate for a better world because we got kids. And you know, we can't leave them with the world with the status quo of how things are going.
That's what's amazing about meeting you. Our minds are so we call each other brothers from a different mother. Because
Yep.
what was our first conversation? Like a couple hours or something?
My goodness gracious. Yeah, I know. My wife's like, Johann, are you coming inside? Yeah, I was like, yeah, okay, just now.
Actually, when I opened this interview, I was going to say, stay tuned. We're going to be talking for the next 12 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so you gave a great another segue. Granada. Tell us about life in St. George's, Granada. That sounds so exotic.
Um, One, it is. It still is a quaint island. Grenada is the world's 11th smallest country. We're a sovereign country. Um, we're so small actually that they have now taken us off the globe map. So if you want to find Grenada, you've got to go to Google Maps. I think it was back in 2005 it was taken off the world map. We
Okay.
have even though we're small, we've left really big footprints all around the world. In other words, a lot of great people have come from Grenada, either directly or through generations. Um, Malcolm X, his mom was Grenadian. I'm sure you've heard of Lewis Hamilton, the race car driver. Both his parents are Grenadian. Grenada, life in Grenada. It's like it is a tropical paradise. It's sadly getting a little bit hotter, as I've mentioned. Cool beaches, really, Grandance is really nice. We have the first underwater sculpture park in the world. It's a fantastic diving destination. I love to dive, even though you're seeing more bleaching of the reefs. Unfortunately, it's a three-island state. It's Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Petit Martinique and Carriacou are the start of the Grenadine Islands. A lot of people come down here, yachties come down here for sailing, and it's a really cool sailing destination. Yeah. But
I don't have any ambassadors from those two islands. Can you get me one? Yeah, as you know, one of my goals is to have an ambassador of kindness from every city on the planet. And those are two exciting islands. Do you know anybody on those two islands?
I'll check on it. I do believe we can make that happen.
Just need one person, their first name. I don't even need their contact information. Just if they can follow the 3 commitments to kindness, you're an ambassador of kindness. It's my
Yeehaw. Well, my wife is, so I'm also happy to say that. Yeah.
Your
But
wife is?
yeah, don't you remember my wife is also an ambassador of kindness?
What's her name?
Cool. If you
Okay.
look it up, you'll see she's like
I
about
only have
10 after me.
the 2 daughters. I don't have the third daughter, I don't think, do I?
Yeah, you do.
All of them.
It's
The whole
yeah,
family.
of course. Yeah, we all are ambassadors of kindness. We
Good.
make this happen. You
Okay.
know?
I'm happy.
But life in Grenada, it's pretty quiet. We have a big American-based university here.
Oh, hey everyone. I wanted to take a second to tell you about some of the other great podcasts on the Arte Podcast Network. If you enjoy talking about politics, for example, you can check out the Average Intelligence podcast every week.
I will say
Racketeering, though, like if she's charged with that, that's a federal crime. She's
well, she could be charged in the Georgia sense. However, I mean,
make a example of her too.
you could get her on election interference, technically speaking. But
Likewise, if you're a pro wrestling fan, Down the Middle's got your fix every other week. If you like Disney, Broadway, or both, you can join Haley every other week with the Part of Your Broadway World podcast. And if you're a 90s horror fan, chances are you're a fan of the Goosebumps book series, television series, and film series. Well, we have a podcast for that too. Every week, hang out with the Goosebumps Crew podcast, and they just nerd out on everything Goosebumps and actually have landed some pretty cool celebrity guests.
We are revisiting The Haunted Mask 1 and 2, arguably some of the best episodes of the Goosebumps 90s TV show. And I'm telling you guys, we got a really, really special guest here today, and that is...
Hi, Catherine Long here.
Hi there, and Catherine played Carly Beth in both episodes.
You want to take a peek behind the curtain in the music industry? Check out Leading the Band. And if you enjoy more pop culture, check out Toon Talk 2.0 every Tuesday.
The name of the podcast is clearly May the 4th. We never say Star Trek. When we have a special Star Trek, I'm all yours. I'm all pointy ears as Spock. I'm all about being a smart ass. I'm really cool. I love Captain Kirk. But this is a Star Wars. You see what is in the back? Look
I
at
do.
that.
I do.
Zzz,
And I'm sorry, I don't care how many X-Wings
zzz,
you have, none of them stand a chance
zzz,
against the Starship Enterprise.
zzz.
And you have to check out my co-host Justin's podcast, the Spur of the Moment podcast, for more of your nerdy pop culture fix.
And it's like, did you forget your movie's Batman Returns? The movie that ruined Batman?
And last but definitely not least, check out 2023's Artie Award Podcast of the Year recipient, the Arate Podcast, every month for long, in-depth conversations about interesting stuff with very interesting people. And I'm stoked to announce that in addition to the Final Frontier, we have quite a few more podcasts that are going to be launching later this year. So keep an eye out for that. You can see all the podcasts on the Arate Podcast Pantheon at aratemedia.org and click on podcasts. And now, back to the show.
I feel, because I've lived all three levels of life, poor, rich, and middle class, I treat everyone the same.
Amen.
Blow you off because he's a billionaire trying to give me a bunch of money. This is important. You're important. Everyone's important. And respect everybody. And call them by their first names. There's only one exception on the planet to calling someone by not their first name, and that's Dr. Fantastic.
Well, I'll add two persons there to that list. I mean, one is dead now, but my mom and my father. If I were to dare call my mother or father by their first name, I'd get a hot slap.
Really? That's not right. That's not right.
But I want to speak to a point you just made, and this is something with our travels, with what we're about, that we really speak to. And I always say this: irrespective of whether you're rich, you're poor, you're African, you're American, you're Muslim, or you're Christian, regardless of how you are, we are all citizens of one world, and we're all part of one race, the human race.
Yeah.
And that is something that we need to start to focus on more,
Well, I'm told that might occur, and Ronald Reagan said it best on the world stage. He said, because they're all fighting, we're all arguing, we're all trying to conquer each other, and we have more nuclear weapons than we could, shake a stick at. He said, perhaps when life from another planet comes to visit us, we will unite at that point. Now, in my opinion, they've been here before man. I'm pretty big believer in extraterrestrials. I mean, we are, but there's more planets with life on them than there are grains of sand on a planet Earth. And that's a lot of grains of sand. So it's called infinity. Humans cannot comprehend that concept, even that word, infinity. You can say it, you can say, oh yeah, I understand it. No, you can't comprehend it, because everything we know of comes to an end. Our sun's going to come to an end. Our planet's going to come to an end. Our lives are going to come to an end. And enjoy your life is what I'm trying to say. But infinity is an amazing concept. It's an amazing thing.
Yep. It's something we can't really wrap our heads around.
Yeah.
As much as we try. No, but I have to say, it's enjoyable while we're here, and we got to make the best of it.
Hopefully, it's up to you. See, everyone thinks someone's going to make them happy. No one. This is the complete guide to happiness. No one is. They'll bring you happiness. They can bring you joy, but they're not going to make you happy. It's up to you between the two ears to make yourself happy.
And not only that, you see, human beings are we have a stupid habit of it's everybody's fault but my own, right? Yeah. So let me give you a joke. Last December, I was walking down the stairs, and at 4 a.m. to go and get my coffee to start my day, and my dog peed all over the bottom step. Right? Well, when the step finished, right on the ground in front. I slipped. I hurt what I thought I hurt my ankle. I really actually broke it the next day I jumped up as Santa Claus for the how do you call them again? Down syndrome children. I play Santa Claus every year, right? Shh. I'm just different persona then. But the point I want to make is my natural reaction was the bloody dog, blah, 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 blah. Right? And
reaction.
I'll be honest to say that it took a few days to get over it, you know? But that said, when I started to walk with a broken leg or broken ankle, my foot was in a cast for 2 months plus. There is a reason for everything. And this is something that we sometimes don't understand or don't take the time to get. It really opened my eyes to the disability of those who are less fortunate than myself. And seeing that we have opportunities in life to look at any situation, if it's bad or not how we expect it, to either say, oh, poor me, it's the whole world's fault, or, okay, this has happened, I'll deal with it, and I'll move on, and I'll still find the joy and essence of life even without it or with it. Imagine this. I went walking, and I mean, the doctor said, stay home, stay home. I was always on my crutches, walking down these bloody 39 stairs, and having to walk back up. But like I went in the supermarket, once the floor was wet, I slipped, face hit the ground straight on. Everybody ran to me, afraid that I'll sue them. I said, listen, life happens, I got up, I brushed myself off, and I continued on my way. And I'm only saying this to say that life happens. You have two choices. You can either say, it's everybody else's fault, things are bad, things are horrible, blah, 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 blah. Or, I'm happy with or without this. Look, I'm going blind slowly in this eye. Does it bother me? No. I have had problems with my legs. Is it bothering me? No. I mean, I've had businesses that have failed. I have had so many things happen to me in my life. I have a choice. I could become cynical and say, oh, the horrible world out there. Or I can say simply this. These challenges make me stronger. And thank you for it. I mean, and this is my part of faith. Thank you, Lord, helping me to have an appreciation and empathy for those who are less fortunate and enjoy life in the process.
That brings a great story, or life, the condition of life. They have the Paralympics nowadays, and those people were probably living average lives, maybe some spectacular, maybe some not so spectacular. They lost their arms, they lost their legs, they lost many parts of their bodies, and they're happier afterwards because the mind compensates. If you lose a sense, your other senses are increased. The mind is an amazing thing, and people now without legs are skiing, and they're rowing, they're doing things they would never have done before, having a more fuller life, exactly for what you're saying.
Yep.
Human mind is amazing, and it's a shame that people don't use it.
No, but that's exactly the point. Life is fantastic for some. Some people are sadly too.
It can be for all.
It can be for all. That's the point. That was it. Some people are just too stupid to realize it. And I think this is what the podcast is all about. People, wake up, smell the coffee, enjoy life. Take it while you can.
The simple things.
I'll tell you this. I don't wish that anybody goes to jail. I'm happy that I've never been in jail, and I pray I never end up going there. But you ask a lot of people having been in jail, the enjoyment of life thereafter, because let me add a quick point here to give the example. As I said, I grew up in Grenada. When I was 17, I went to Austria to live. I remember my cousin coming to visit me just before leaving. Him and his wife, they came on vacation. And my parents have a beautiful view of Grand Anse Beach. Beautiful. And he said to me, aren't you going to miss this? And I said, that you could cement in the entire bay and it wouldn't bother me a thing. I went to Austria, and while there, I kept missing it. I kept missing it. I'm living here now. I may not go to the beach to swim that often. I should more often. But every time I pass driving by and I look at the sea, I thank the Lord for it. You know, I say, wow, this is something beautiful. This is fantastic. And you can ask my kids. I often look across and you see the sun glistening on the water. I say, girls, check that out. Isn't that amazing? Etc. And this is the point that I'm making. It often takes, as you've said with the Paralympics, something happening to you that in your average person's mindset is something horrible, that you miss out on something, and then you understand how beautiful it is. For most people, too late. Yeah. As in, and when I say too late, it's never too late. It's just a pity you've lost out on it for so many years of your life. Enjoy it while you can. It is an amazing gift given to us that just rocks.
Well, I had a radio show in Los Angeles, and you're not supposed to use the word P too often because it pops in the microphone. And I didn't give a shit. I'd say, I'm possibly and practically the most positive person on the planet. My name was Paul Paget, which is one of my friends. That would even be better. But I can't see negative in anything, and I won't allow myself to see negative in anything.
Exactly. What for? What for? I look at it from a different perspective. If something happens to me, I say, look, there's a lesson to be learned here. Yeah. Whether it is not to do it again or something that I've missed out on, I say, okay, good. Well, next time I ain't gonna be stupid. I'm not gonna put my hand in an ant's nest. Yeah. But I look at how the ants have bitten up my hand. Well, I'll give you a good example. The other day I was clearing something in the road and I touched a funny tree. And it had special thorns. I even still have a little piece of it here in my hand. Yeah. My hand just barely touched it. And my hand was really enlarged for weeks, you know. I said, okay, I could cry. I just said, okay, a lesson learned. I ain't touching that plant again in my life, you know. And that's how we, part of the learning lesson of life. We could see it as something horrible or say lessons learned, moving on. Yeah.
I was golfing once, speaking of stickly things, and my ball went into the rough because I'm a shitty golfer, and there was a cactus there, and I didn't touch the cactus, but I came out with it on my leg, and I said to my cousin, "What the hell's that?" She goes, "That's a jumping cactus." And I looked at my leg, and so I got the golf club and kind of like knocked it off, and it went like off and back on. It jumped back on, and so then I go, "Okay, watch this," and I went whack, and got a good whack on it. But it sees the heat of another object, and it jumps out at you. So there you go.
Oh, cool.
Crazy life. Mother Nature is the most amazing thing. I hope it's not too late to save it. And that's what you're trying to do. So let's segue into 195 and 365.org.
Well, it's 195 and 365 Inc. I mean, it would be the .com if we used it, but just for correction.
It's just
but
marketing.
Nothing big to mention there. Well, what is it? I've always been an environmentalist, you know. Back in the day, and when you said that about your sister, it really intrigued me. Back in the 80s, Save the Whales, etc. Went to Austria back in the early 90s, and it was amazing for me because every household had 7 garbage bins, and it really blew my mind. It was like Nirvana for me. I came back to Grenada, started a family.
7. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
There's plastic. There's but degradables. I mean, 7 different types of trash.
Yep.
What are the 7 different types?
So, biodegradable.
Okay.
Hard plastics, soft plastics, cardboard, batteries,
electronics.
Yeah, that's 5. I do know there is one for there is 7. Okay. The other 2 will pop in my mind, but they were 7 garbage bins, honestly.
Okay.
I know, because she always had them separate.
The Ten Commandments.
Oh
Those-
yeah, cans was another one. That's 6.
Okay.
And sorry, my apologies. 2 different types of bottles: clear bottles and colored bottles.
No.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Ten Commandments. Most people can't recite them like this. That's why I made 3 commitments, because everyone can remember 3 commitments to kindness.
Yeah, but that was the point, that they understood their role in nature, and that's why Austria is still one of the leading, or if not the leading country for environmental, not only awareness, but how they treat their country, and they get loads of tourists because of it.
I saw some videos on a country, I forget which one it is now. They don't have trash. I mean, it's the most amazing,
Exactly.
amazing things with trash.
Well, Austria still didn't have trash since I was there. They would import trash from other countries because they'd run out of trash, and even then within their landfills, they would be running pipes to get whatever methane was coming out of it. And I mean, imagine this, and this is something that people will find very hard. Back in the 1970s, they did ring canalization systems around all their lakes, so that all the water going into the lakes were filtered before entering, so all the water is drink water quality. Wouldn't we love that if you're in Guatemala or in the States? Oh my gosh. This is the understanding of what, when people say, look, let me take care of my environment. But I was digressing. Either way, my daughter followed in my footsteps here in Grenada back when she was 11, started recycling, compost and all of that in school. And it was like about 6 years ago, we were sitting together asking what could we do about it, where the direction the world was headed, etc. And that's when the idea came of a father and a daughter going around the world to ask the world to change. From there, 3 years of research, what it would take for us to go around the world. We launched a little under 2 years ago. A little over 2 years ago. And the Minister of Environment asked my daughter to be the youth representative for Grenada at COP27. And that, as you know, unfortunately didn't meet you, but that's when we went across there. And I found God saying to me, we need to make it bigger than us. That's when we started to invite youth representatives from all the different countries of the world to join us, to do a trip to 195 countries of the world within 1 year with youth activists for 3 things: awareness, education, and mobilization. In other words, what's the problem? How do we fix it? And let's go and do the job. Yeah, in other words, showcasing the different challenges we have in all the different countries. Education, how can we mitigate, become more resilient, or adapt to the changing planet? And pushing for climate science within the junior and secondary schools, primary and secondary schools. And thirdly, the giving youth a sense of hope. In other words, showing them, empowering them to say, let's change the planet together. Let's make the world a better place. And since January of this year, we've been connecting and liaising with CSOs, civil society organizations, NGOs, schools, universities, all around the world to say, let's do this together. And we've been busy creating a coalition of like minds around the world to say, when we pass through the different countries, how can we use this as a platform to get people around the world to say, let's change the world together. That's the core essence. How we do it, those sort of American rock star buses that sleep 12 bunk beds in each bus, going from country to country, 146 countries by land, starting in like New York, going through Central South America. While we put them on a boat to go across to Africa, we do the Caribbean in a flotilla of yachts. 33 countries we'll do by plane: Africa, Asia, Europe, in the trip. And when we get into a country, the buses would be going in different directions. One seeing the bleaching of the reefs, another one the deforestation, another one going and speaking in schools, another one meeting with indigenous tribes. And a big part of this is each bus will be wrapped with a different SDG, basically the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Because if you want to deal with climate change, you got to look at the bigger picture. If a man is broke or has no money, i.e., zero poverty, SDG number 1, and you give him $100, he's not going to go and put down a solar panel. He's going to feed his family. So unless we look at the holistic thing of what it would take to change the planet, we'll still be in a mess. So this is where we're talking about these global conversations, that when the buses finish see this, we come together in each country where the government allows it to do an event there. We'll have lots of other trucks there, a mobile hospital, mobile kitchens, etc., and a mobile stage to have events there, it being pulled by an electric truck, whereby we have local and international celebrities, be it in the music, film, culinary, sport industry, experts, scientists, all speaking to the same thing. Let's change the planet together. Let's be fantastic. Let's be kind. Yeah, kind to self, kind to others, and for goodness sake, kind to planet. And together, we can make a difference. Yeah, yeah.
It's a lofty goal. You have to raise a lot of money for that, I imagine.
Yes, yes. But I'm gonna, Dr. Fantastic, I'm gonna say this. This is something I'm not worried about. Parties have seen what this can mean for the planet, and it is also, I'll say, if we want real change to happen around the world, 3 sectors have to be involved. In other words, civil society organizations, i.e., NGOs, schools, universities, etc., governments, and corporations. Business has to play a role. And this is where we talk about addressing their ESGs, the environmental and social governance. And here are the opportunities we're saying to corporations globally. Here's a chance to partner with us whereby we can highlight what you're doing for the planet, collective, with us in making a decision to make a difference in this world. Oh,
remember this?
Yep, exactly that. That's it.
17?
That's the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, COP27.
Yeah. It's a pity we didn't meet up with one another then, but
yeah,
everything in God's time.
Happens, as a philosopher, you know my saying, as it should, when it should. And when we met, it was a glorious meeting because we're so on the right path, and we need more people on that path.
And that is exactly the point about getting a global movement for change, one where we come with humility and we I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. Where we say to one another, guys, we have a choice in life, you know? We can either look at the doom and gloom and say it's everybody else's fault, or we take responsibility for what we've done and what we're continuing to do.
I say take accountability.
That's a nice one. Yep, accountability. Exactly that. Because it is a paradigm shift. It is all of us not being hypocrites and saying, taking the time for an introspective view of ourselves and saying, what can I do to make a difference? How can I do things differently?
We can cut the greed down. Now, here's an example, 2 examples. One is the toothpaste companies are going to hate me to say this, but before I say about toothpaste, first example is people take 20-minute or more showers. Now that to me is a travesty because I get in, I'm a pretty big guy, I'm 6 foot tall, I get wet, I soap up and I rinse off. It's literally a 3 to 5 minute shower, if that. And that's saving water. But people say, listen, I worked hard for my money, and of course it costs money for water, most places. And it says, I deserve it, and I'm going to spoil my. That's commitment 1, being kind. But it's commitment 1, 2, and 3 are in a combination, in coordination with one another. You know.
Yep.
But the second one is, let's say you use 1/3 less toothpaste. Now the toothpaste companies want you to put a big long slather of toothpaste on your brush, right? If you use 1/3 less toothpaste, you save 1/3 of the money. It saves 1/3 of trash going in into the ground because I don't know what they do with toothpaste tubes lately, and it lasts 3 times longer. It's genius, but corporations don't want to hear that. They want you to buy more, buy more, buy more.
Well, I'll also add, besides that, is we have to look at what we're doing with everything that we're not using or that we're wasting. In other words, there's a big word here that a lot of people don't pay attention to: the circular economy. In other words, we've been trained to take, eat, throw, take, eat, throw, or take, use, throw. And this throwing, people should ask themselves, have you ever been to a dump site? Have you ever seen what happens there? Have you ever seen what happens to that plastic bottle of drink that you have had that you've thrown out the window? Understand this. Anything you throw out the window that's plastic is likely to end up in the sea. I've done many cleanups in the sea where we've gone to clean up, and you would be shocked to see the amount of plastic bottles, etc., that are being below there that are eventually
an island bigger than New York of plastic in the ocean, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of throwing shit, I'm gonna say shit out the window because we can cuss on this show, which I really like. They have this thing in the old days, I don't know if they still have it, it's called an ashtray. And so you don't throw the butts out the window, which cause fires, which cause fish to die because it goes in the ocean, which cause death and destruction and all kind of, and there's, I think, 4.7 trillion cigarette butts get thrown on the ground each year, right? Well, what people do when their ashtray is full, they dump it out the window.
Yep.
Crazy.
I know, and that's the point. You see, look, we ask about a few things here where we can easily or quickly make a difference. Composting. Composting is one of the quickest, fastest ways for us to help reduce the amount of carbon dioxide or methane that's going into the air that's wasted. Just 1 second. As she said, come and just say hi one time. My daughter just came. Yeah, this is Giovanna. She was just speaking.
You're fantastic.
Yes.
Tell me about composting, because I really don't grasp it that much. I really haven't studied that much because I do a lot of cooking, and I'm just wondering, you just throw, and I even built a hole, but you just throw all your banana peels, you throw all your biodegradables in the pit, right?
Yeah, in a pit. Yeah, because the challenge we have right now is, you see, if it's thrown in with the garbage, it doesn't get the opportunity for it to degrade properly, and that's when you get the CH4 being caused because of it. In other words, methane production, because there's not enough oxygen coming to it to mix in with it to create the bonds that for the
Should the compost
decomposition
be away from the house? Because isn't it attract a lot of bugs and flies and insects?
No, and I'll add a few points to this thing here straight off the bat. Is, for example, here in the back of my house, I put my biodegradables, as in my banana peels, my apples, or things that I have there. It's great for the soil. The small animals and so eat it up very quickly, and when I grow stuff there, it grows a lot faster. So there's that. And another challenge we have around the place is that you see people burning bush all the time. Perfect.
Perfect. What is it?
Sweet.
Yeah, I found it hidden behind, in my garden, hidden behind another bush. Because for 3 months I'm watering, I'm not seeing any plants, and I'm finally, I saw this 2 days ago, and I'm going, I'm pregnant.
Well, I have my pumpkin vines growing out from where I am, and I'm expecting pumpkin sometime soon.
I thought this was a pumpkin. I thought I planted a pumpkin, but I don't think it's a pumpkin.
No, I think that is a melon.
No, it's not a melon. I just cut it open, the other one, and I think it's I cooked it last night. I think it's squash.
Oh wow!
But you know what's funny is because I'm always curious. I'm curious as the day is long. I ate a seed. It's sweet and chewable.
Oh wow!
It's delicious. It's a delicious.
You sure it's not a type of melon?
I mean, maybe it's so sweet. It's sweeter than the pulp. The seeds are totally sweet.
Well, I'll say something to you here. I think it's because
Gotta
you
be healthy.
no, I think it's you cut it too early because it looks like a melon that's a little bit on the green side.
Oh. Well,
That's okay. We don't all need to have green thumbs. I don't have green thumbs, but at
well,
least I make sure I do my part.
I was just so happy when I saw the first one. It was like 3 months of watering, and then the vine is very long. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. I got over 150 feet of vine, and
Wow.
the blossoms are coming out. Blossoms, yellow blossoms, blossoms. I even cooked a few, and they said if there's no honey, if there's no bees pollinating it, you won't get a pumpkin or squash or whatever the hell this thing is, right? And I look out there and I see the bees pollinating. I go, where the hell's the product, right? And finally, this one came out, and I was so happy. I mean, like you say, enjoying the little things in life. And that's why I tell people to plant gardens, because the kids can see something from their hands develop.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And it's the connection to nature that is established that many of us take for granted.
Yeah, most of us.
But on a slight sad note, I do have an appointment that I need to go to
Gotta
shortly.
work. You gotta save the planet. You gotta help me save
Yeah.
the planet. Well,
We do.
everyone, I hope you enjoyed meeting Johann and hearing his great stories and a few of mine. Stay tuned, because the next segment of the show is a cooking episode from somewhere around the world, when I decided to turn the camera on and show you one of my favorite recipes. So stay tuned for that. Whatever you did this week that made you happy, keep doing it. Do it again and
Amen,
again.
brother.
Be
Amen.
happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Thanks, everyone. You are fantastic.
You
And
definitely are, my brother.
Go to 195 in 365.org and see his marvelous plan. It really is quite amazing.
Take care, my brother.
Bye. Yeah. Well, it's that time of the show for another episode of Dr. Fantastic Cooks. This one from the archives of the shows I've been filming for the last 5 years is coming to you from Amberkey Island in Belize. I lived there for about 6 months. It was fantastic. Actually, one of the months I went the complete month without ever wearing a pair of shoes or sandals. That was quite a challenge for me, and it was a lot of fun. Because when you walk barefoot, you can be happy because you're being grounded. It's called earthing or grounding, and it grounds your chi to the earth, because we're electric and the earth is electric. So enjoy this breakfast recipe coming to you from the island of Evergreen Key. Enjoy, and until next week, I'll see you on planet Earth or something like that. I don't know. How would you like to learn how to make a bird's nest hash brown with eggs in the middle and bacon and a little coffee? It's a great breakfast to start your day off. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Fantastic Cooks. This one will be hopefully a quick and easy and simple and delicious one. It's one I've never cooked before. It's breakfast. I'm just making my coffee here. Where is my coffee? Yeah. They say don't always use the same cup. Don't always do the things the same way, because you get into a habit, and habits aren't the greatest things on the planet. So I make a little coffee in the morning, differently, try to every once in a while. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. There's a saying that you should eat like a king in the morning, a commoner in the afternoon, and a pauper at night. So this is going to be not like a king. It's going to be a simple breakfast. But that's because you need energy. So right now I'm cooking bacon, and with the grease from the bacon will be, instead of using butter, because I think it's going to make it more flavorful if I use the grease from the bacon. I'm going to make I don't know what it's called actually, but basically I saw this recipe, and it was, I think, a Chinese dish.
and where you julienne the carrot, and you make a little nest egg, and you put the egg in the middle. So you have hash browns and what have you. So basically, start with a sharp knife. Always start with a sharp knife. Take this slow. So basically, if you cook this potato on its own, it's going to take a long time because it's got a lot of mass. And I've made potato chips. And if you slice it really thin, it cooks faster. So basically, you want to, in this recipe, you want to have a very thin julienne slice. And as you can see, I don't have to look down because I know where my finger is. It's curled in, so it is not going to get sliced. And, I do want to make it really thin, so I'm going to look at what I'm doing a little bit. And it's just, I'm cooking for one today. A lot of people won't cook. They say, oh, it's just for one. Cooking is fantastic. So there I'm going to julienne. Back to the bacon. I love bacon. Who doesn't love bacon? I think they have a bacon ice cream, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, some people love it real crispy, bacon. Some people don't like it as crispy. Cook as you like it, right? So now that I've got the little slices, you can see it should come out like this, even a little thinner. So then you take one of your slices like that, and then you, again, julienne it. Very, very small, very thin. Each one. Cooking's a little bit of work, but the end result is a delicious breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I've eaten 74,000 meals in my life. Looking forward to another 74,000. And sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't. That's why it's important to have a cocktail. Typically, I have a cocktail with each meal. I like my coffee mate. This one's Italian sweet cream. Coffee is nice in the morning. Looks like the bacon's almost done. I think it's called julienne. Anyway, so basically almost 1/8 of an inch. So it's very pliable. It'll cook faster that way. Almost have it all done here. And then I sliced one onion. I think the recipe I saw called for carrots in it, but I don't eat carrots in the morning. So, you can take a recipe and alter it as you like, I like onion. I don't cook anything without onion. So I have put onion in this recipe. And then there was some jalapeno sitting there. And I said, why not make it a little spicy? So it's going to be a spicy onion, potato, hash brown. Basically, it's a hash brown with an egg in the middle. I mean, who doesn't love hash browns, right? So I think I've got it all julienned here. You can see it's all julienned, just as I said. So then you put this in the bowl with the onions. Don't burn your bacon. Like I said, crispy's good. This looks pretty crispy. Okay, so now I've got the bacon sitting on paper towel, so it absorbs a lot of the fat. I'm going to take most of the juice and pour it into another bowl, which I will use to feed the dog. Waste nothing. So with a little bit of oil, I'm going to use a little grapeseed, just a touch. You don't want the pan too hot. I'm going to mix it all up like this. And then I'm going to reset the camera so you can see it cooking. And we'll go from there. So I'll be right back with the camera reset. Get it all in there. Don't waste food. Never waste food. There's a lot of starving people in the world. I'd be happy to have the food that we throw away. Be right. Okay, I'm back and the pan looks fairly hot. So what I'm going to do here, in theory, is make 2 nest eggs. We're going to call them nest eggs. I should probably have done 3. But like I said, this is my first time doing this. Now, you don't want to burn your fingers, so you want to make a little nest egg. And you know, how they did it on that recipe was very cool because it was like, anyway, presentation's important, you know. So it was a really nice presentation. So there I am. I think what you want to do is cook it pretty well first. See the little nest egg there? How's it look in the camera there? Yeah, you can see it. And again, it's on medium heat. You don't want to go too high, you'll burn everything. Let that cook for a minute. There's the bacon. Crispy, delicious. You could put a little butter in if you wanted to. Give it some more flavor. Get the spatula out. Again, it's going to cook faster because it's julienne. So I'm hoping it all stays together. You know what? I think I blew it on the recipe. I think I was supposed to put the egg whites in instead of oil, if I remember correctly. I guarantee it's still going to taste fantastic. Let's see what happens. Put an egg in the center there. One. Huge eggs. There we go. Keep it in there, in the center there. Try not to break the yolk. You're only going to turn it once. At this point, I'm going to put a little salt. Again, I use Himalayan salt. It's very powerful, so you don't want to use too much. I put pepper on everything. We already have the jalapeno in there. It's already going to be spicy. And let's see what happens, you know. As you know, if you've been watching my cooking shows the last few years, I always have a cocktail. But it's just the morning, so instead of a Bloody Mary, I'm having a cup of coffee. Ah, delicious cup of coffee. Now, I want to see all of the egg cooked before I flip it. It may fall apart. Like I say, it was an experiment. I'm not sure if using the egg yolk or the egg white, whatever you call it, the egg white, would keep it together more. But I'm thinking that the oil is going to keep it together more. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, maybe a little bit too low. No hurry. I hope you're enjoying it. Hope you enjoy cooking. Hope you enjoy eating. You see that okay? Yeah, that's a good shot of it. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. So, again, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. A lot of people skip it. So then you don't have the energy to go throughout the day. So about noon, you're about ready to call it a day. Quit. Let's see what happens on the first one. Looks to me like it's holding together pretty well. You see that? And get as much as you can on the flip. And here it goes. Flip. Not bad for my first attempt. It kind of looks like a nest egg, as it should. And there we go. Yeah, that's not bad. For a beginner, you got the onion in there, the jalapeno. Cook that through. And I think we have a successful operation here. Enjoy the day, everyone. Thanks for watching. And be fantastic. Be kind to yourself, all others, and the planet. Thanks for watching the show. I hope you got a couple laughs. Hope you learned a thing or two. And I hope you're going to have a very happy week. Thanks. Please like, subscribe, and share. And perhaps we'll make the world a better place by doing so. You know, if we don't share the knowledge,
because sharing is caring, and caring is kindness, and kindness leads to happiness. So share, like, subscribe, and have a fantastic week. See you next Monday. Tell your friends about it. You can watch this show anytime after it premieres on Mondays. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
I met Dr. Fantastic along life's way, and I heard him say, you gotta say, I am fantastic, la la la, I am fantastic. You can feel it if you say it. It ain't a game, you gotta learn how to play it. Fantastic, fantastic. Just listen to the doctor. He's a rocker. He walks around all day. He ain't plastic. He's not sarcastic. He says, I am fantastic.